In this video, I'm going to be showing you the different type of marking tools there are. We're going to be going through each one and which one is best for a particular task. The first tool that I want to talk about is the Dressmaker Chalk. I have two examples right here. I have a blue one and I have a white one. It's a good idea to have a dark color and a white color. The reason for this is if I'm marking on light fabric, I'm not really going to see it if I use the white chalk, so I would use the blue chalk in this case. But if I'm working with dark fabric, then I want to use the white chalk because that's going to show up better. I think chalk works best when you're using a fabric that has a nap. So if it's more of the fuzzier type of texture like fleece or flannel or even velvet, that tends to work better using chalk than it does working with the ink pens. So usually these come within a little holder and then you could get the refills. This is actually the refill chalk. And you can use it to either make a dot, like here's my dot right here, or it's nice because it has an edge, so you can always go like this and form a line. So I have a line right here. It's kind of hard to see because it usually works best in the other type of fabric. So that's the blue. Now if I remove this, I have my dark fabric underneath. So here's the white. And that works really well. So there's my white dot right there if I needed to mark my fabric or if I need to do a line. There's a line. And usually with chalk, you could just kind of rub it out, maybe get a little damp cloth, and you can usually just rub it out if you don't want to see it anymore. If you don't want to use the chalk, you want something a little bit easier to handle, there's always the pencils. These also come in white and blue. So they're a little bit easier to handle. Again, the white one would go on a darker fabric. So there's my dot right there. And I pressed pretty hard, so I don't think it shows up as well as the chalk, but it is a lot easier to handle because of course it's just like using a pencil. So there's a line right there. The last tool I have is the marker. And I usually use this on fabrics that do not have a nap. So it's usually smooth texture like cotton or polyester or something. That's the best one to use for this tool. Now you see this has two different color ends. It has a purple and has a blue. You can get pens that's just purple only, or you get one that's blue only. So that's possible as well. I like having both because it gives me the option of having both pens in one. Now each side does a different thing. I mean, they both mark, but the blue side is nice because the mark will stay there until you wipe it away with a damp cloth. The purple one disappears after 48 hours. So if I'm doing a short-term project that's not going to take very long, sometimes I'll just use the purple, then I don't have to worry about wiping away my marks. But you have to be careful because if it ends up sitting around for more than a few days, all your marks are going to disappear. So therefore you want to use the blue one. So I'll show you the difference here. This is the blue. I'm going to do it as dark as I can. So that's the blue marking. And then the purple marking tends to show up really well on the light cloth. So there's the purple side. So just depending on what you're doing, you can choose which type, either the one that disappears after 48 hours or the one that you have to kind of wipe away with a damp cloth. The last tool that I don't have an example on is beeswax. Usually comes in a small round in a little container. And beeswax is exactly that. It kind of feels like a candle texture to it. And it's mostly good for marking dark fabrics since it's so light. If you use it on light color fabrics, you're not going to really see it. So my main point here is don't just buy one type of marking. Either get a pen and then get some chalk. Because you're going to be using different types of fabric, you want to be able to make sure that your options are open on the type of marking that you can do. So that's why it's important to get a few different varieties.